Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali. And in today's Vehicle Visionary video, we're going to give you the information. What do you get for the sticker price of $82,035? Well, quite a bit, but let's start off talking about just some of the basics of this truck. It has a nice large interior thanks to the long cab, plenty of leg space, plenty of headroom, and plenty of storage. And depending on your situation, there are 4 different engine options. So depending on what you just want, maybe what your needs are, maybe what your budget is, there's a lot of different potentials as to why somebody might choose either the 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, the 3-liter diesel, the 5.3 liter V8, or what we have here, which is the 6.2 liter V8. By the way, you're looking at 420 horsepower, 460 pounds-feet of torque, and that's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The exterior color on this model is white frost tint coat, and it has an brownstone with atmosphere interior. Let's get those on the right order according to what the sticker has. Give you a quick look around to see what is here, but let's close everything up. And before I do that, I do want to show you one thing. You'll notice that you have the power side steps right there. Let's walk over to this side, and you might have noticed that the step on this side of the truck is in a whole different position. How did I make that happen? Well, there's a button right here. You can just kick it with your foot or touch it with your foot, and it will come back here, and that gives you the opportunity to go right up into the front of the bed. It works on both sides if you need to reach in here and get something, or maybe untie something with one of the tie downs right here. There's a lot of potentials that you can use that for, but it makes for convenience. You don't have to worry about hopping all the way into the bed, and see how easy that is to do that. And I'll show you another trick later on that you can use with those as well. And in case you're saying, well, what about the MPGs, Tom? 15 city, 19 highway, 16 combined, and 6.2 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. So let's take a little bit closer look at some of the features and functionality of this truck. LED lighting everywhere you look, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED fog lights. I don't have them on, but there they are down there on the lower portion of the bumper. You will also find the turn signal or blinker option. Some of you know what it is, some of you don't. You might say, how do you know that, Tom? Because I drive around you. That's how I know. Yes, it's okay. You can laugh. Well, you're probably not laughing if you're one of those people who don't use your blinkers. You'll also find something I can't say anything funny about here, but it's very useful and functional. The IntelliBeam headlights, they're going to follow the road, do what you need them to do, be in the right place. That's good. A little bit of chrome, well, quite a bit of chrome in a few different places on this truck. If you like that look, well, that's a good thing. You'll find the tow hooks down here, and you can see the sensors here on the bumper. Those are all over the truck, front and rear, and that's going to have to do with a lot of the different features and functionality that this particular truck has. And if you're wondering about tire and wheel size, the width is 275, a 50 series sidewall wrapped around the 22-inch wheels. There is a spare tire located under the rear section of the truck. You'll have a lot of lighting in several different areas around the truck, not only here with this power side view mirrors, but also the in-bed lighting. There's also another light on the tailgate, which I have in the down position right now, but you probably know what's there. And by the way, these are power adjustable, power folding side view mirrors. So all I'm going to do is push this button, and there you go. The mirrors fold in. That is a nice feature to have. I know a lot of you ask about that. There's the answer to your question. And here's the remote for 2024. No changes where that's concerned, but you can see lock, unlock. You have remote start. That's a good thing. And you can open the tailgate. Now on this truck, it's going to be open only. You're not going to be able to raise it back up. You'll have to do that manually, but not a big deal. And an advantage to having the remote in your pocket, or at least in your possession, is that you can walk up to the side door here, or to the handles on the doors, and push the button right here. Now it's only on the front, but that's passive entry. It allows you to lock and unlock all 4 doors, no big deal. Easy to use, very convenient, and we also have the multi-pro tailgate here. And for those who are not familiar with this, let's get that out correctly now. Here's the deal. It's a very, very nice multitasker, and here's why. And before I do anything else, there's that light I was talking about in case you wondered, but you can use this as a conventional tailgate. There's that power function I was talking about earlier, but then we can close the tailgate. You push the button here on the top, you can bring this area down. You can use that as a table. You can use it as a bed extender. Depending on your situation and what you're hauling, that can come in rather handy. And there's actually two different options to use that section as a bed extender. Here is option number 2. We're going to put that up in place. You can see what happens right there. And then, let's just say there's something in this area of the bed. I showed you how you can easily gain access to the front with those power steps. But what about the rear area without having to hop all the way in? Well, let that down, and then you can step forward and reach further into the bed. But that's not all. I don't mean to sound like I'm going to sell you a container of OxyClean or something like that, but in this case, you have the lights back here. So there are lights, as you can see right here. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera, but they are built into this area. You can also have the kicker audio system, and this is a step right here. Good thing about it, get your feet up there, you have that graphite material that reminds me of grip tape off of a skateboard. Makes it easier to be sure-footed. And if you need it, there is the handle to grab onto. And one thing I did want to tell you, because I forgot to tell you earlier, these are also heated side view mirrors. A lot going on there. Blind spot monitoring built in. We could do a full video on the mirrors alone. Well, not quite. But while you could consider this to be a luxury truck, it's also still a pickup truck. 2,030 pounds of payload, up to 13,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you'll notice that the corner steps or the bumper steps here are not as big. That is one of the ways, if you're at the GMC dealership and you're looking around and saying, which one of these trucks has Super Cruise? This bumper will tell you whether it does or not. And if it has the larger, deeper corner steps right here, bumper steps, that's not going to have Super Cruise. When you see this style of bumper, it does. This one does have Super Cruise, a lot of features, a lot of functionality going on here, and a lot of practical things to talk about as well. Comfortable armrest here on the door panel, obviously on both sides. You'll see the contrast stitching here, kind of that baseball style stitching right here. Large door bins, and you can lift the seat cushions up, not only to gain access to the tools to change a tire. We talked about the spare tire that this truck has earlier. Both sides do come up. My arm just isn't quite long enough to reach all the way over there, so you'll just have to use your imagination. And both outboard seats have the built-in storage right here. I like that feature. And as I said earlier, a lot of space, not only leg space, but also headroom. We'll hop inside, and just to keep from hearing the sirens outside, we'll close the door. So there you go. More storage with the seat pockets on the rear of both seats. Nobody is going to go thirsty in this truck. There are literally cup holders everywhere you look. If you need more cup holders, there they are. They're literally everywhere. A power sliding rear window, and we're going to have our air conditioning vents on the rear of the center console, USB options, and you're going to notice the 2 buttons here for the heated seats. Why only 2? Well, because you only have 2 seats back here that are heated, the outboard seats. The seat in the middle is not. So whoever's sitting there in the dead of winter, well, sorry, but your butt's going to be cold. And last but not least, as far as what we get to see from the back seat, there is the sunroof. Conventional size. Tell me what your thoughts are. Would you like to see GMC add a panoramic sunroof to the Sierra? And we'll take a look into the passenger side front seating area. We're going to have the Denali logo here on the door panel. Pretty much the same setup for the most part as what we saw with the rear doors. But you will find the Denali logo there on the door sill. Power seats that are heated and ventilated for the driver and the passenger. The Denali logo stitched into the seat back right there. And then we're going to have the upper and the lower glove boxes. I told you earlier, there's a lot of storage space in the interior of this truck, and it doesn't stop there. You also have a little bit of space on the side of the center console area right here, and we'll hop inside. Here are some of your one-touch buttons. You probably know what each and every one of those are. I don't need to say too much about that. A little bit of storage right here. You'll see some more USB options. And there's the shifter. What do you prefer? Do you like this style of shifter, or would you rather see a column shifter? Everybody has their preferences. Tell me what your thoughts are on that subject. Cup holders, and right here, let me open the lid to the center console. That is your wireless charging pad. So you deposit your smartphone down here. That is convenient, and it's good to know where it is. Here is the lid for the center console that does sit up nice and high, doubles as an armrest, and a lot of space within. Even additional connectivity options, as you can see. Plenty of space. You have the removable tray right here if you want to use that. And up here, you have some controls, including what you can use to control the power sunroof. It tilts and slides open. And for the most part, the driver's side door panel is pretty much identical to the passenger side, with the exception of some of the controls that you saw earlier in the video. And you may have seen seat memory up there. In my personal opinion, at the price point of this truck, I believe you should also have seat memory over there on the passenger side, but it's not here. Just my thoughts on the matter. If you're looking for your power parking brake, here it is. Control driving mode here, and your lighting on the exterior of the truck here. When you see the three switches right here, you know you have a head-up display. And if you need to turn on or turn off your auto high beams, here's the button to do that on the multitasking lever right there. Let's go ahead and fire things up here. In fact, before we do that, I'll just show you the graphics that come up on the screen. I don't know how good of a view I can give you from this vantage point because, well, I didn't turn the steering wheel in the right direction to do that, but I think you got a good view of that. Just to show you what all is here. And you'll see right here, that shows us that we have Super Cruise in this truck, a very simple thing to use, that's for sure. And with the instrument cluster right here. Very nice, very easy to use. And if you say to yourself, I want to customize that, all we're going to do, let's just do this. We're going to arrow over like that, and then we're going to push the scroll wheel like that, and we can go to display layout. And depending on what you want to do and what area maybe you want to change, well, you can make changes where that's concerned. Quite a bit going on here. It really is easy to deal with, and depending on what you want to change and where you want to change it, you can pretty much change a little bit of everything. As you can see right there, there's left side, right side, your lower gauges, it's all here. And if you get to a point and say to yourself, you know what, I'm really not happy with what I'm seeing here, you can reset to defaults. Very easy to do. Now, I don't know if I can get the head-up display. Let's see if I can get it to come up for us. It's kind of hard to see right now. We'll deal with that later, maybe in the video. But there is a head-up display here. I don't know how well you can see it, but I did go ahead and try to get it in place for you. But there is a head-up display there. You can change the information that's on the projection right there. Very easy to deal with, nice to have, just a nice convenience. You also have your shifter paddles right here, and on the rear of the steering wheel, you can also control the volume on the radio and the stations. Up here, we're going to have our rear view camera mirror. That can come in handy in a lot of situations. It does take some getting used to, I have to say, because things look a little closer. It gives you a bit of a different view, but just so you know, that is there. Now, as of 2022, GMC adding the 13.4-inch screen. Google Assistant here, so you can say, hey, I won't do it because I might set off devices in your house. That's happened before, so trying to think about everybody watching the video. It is almost laughable when that happens, but I don't want to do that. Google Maps, you can pair your phone. It is wireless pairing, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Those are both right here. They're just blacked out or grayed out because they're not being used right now. But you can see what all is here. You can go into settings and make all sorts of changes and get all sorts of information depending on what you need to do. Very simple. The hunt and peck method, just get in here and start checking things out. It's pretty easy to deal with, so you can see what all is there. And something else that I like to show on this particular model is you have multiple camera views. And one thing you might notice on your front camera, on the front end up there on the grill, that there's a little piece that sticks out. You might say to yourself, well, what exactly is that? That is the front camera washer. And when you run the windshield washer fluid, every time you do that, it doesn't have to be up on the screen right here, but this is what happens. It sprays windshield washer fluid not only on the windshield, but also on the front view camera. Just something that I know a lot of people may not even know their truck has. You do have the front and rear view, and you notice the two little dots right here. When you see that, that means you have more than one view, so you can just do that. I know a lot of you know about that, but there may be some people left who don't, so I'm going to tell them about it. Here is the easiest way to hitch up to a trailer if you need to do so. That just makes life a little bit more simplified. You also have the bed view, and if somebody's sleeping in the bed and you're saying, who is that? I can't really tell. You can zoom in. Just makes it super easy and convenient. There's a lot here. Dual zone climate control. You also have, like I said earlier, the heated and ventilated seats. Nice to be able to make a choice on that. Today, I actually do still need the ventilated seats here in Northwest Louisiana, but we're getting to a point where that isn't going to be the case anymore. Your dual zone climate control, pretty simple to figure out how that works. You can sync both sides together if so desired. And when you go into reverse, obviously you're going to have your cameras come up once again. But the good news is you don't have to be in reverse for that to happen. And before we get out for the test drive, speaking of driving, I showed you that you have your driving modes right here, a drive mode selector. What are the driving modes? Well, let's take a look at what we have. There is sport mode, there is off-road, and there is normal. So you have 3 different driving modes to choose from. Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to forgive me for lying to you. We're going to get out on the road for a test drive, but I do want to show you one more thing that I promised to show earlier. So we're going to go into settings. We're going to go into vehicle. We're going to scroll right down here to power assist steps. And if you go right here to move power assist steps, you might need to deploy them so you can wash the truck. And there's a couple, or wash the steps, I should say, when you're washing the truck. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can use that button that I showed you earlier on the steps themselves, or you can just come right here. They'll stay out. You can deploy them to the bed if you need to. But just so you see what is here, that's just part of what the truck has, so I might as well show you. Okay guys, here we go on our test drive, and I'll tell you what, one thing you'll notice is the exhaust. Yep, that's different. And it definitely sounds very good. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is the fact that normally in the past, up until I believe 2023, if you had Super Cruise, you lost the heated steering wheel because the button for the heated steering wheel will normally be right here where the button is for Super Cruise. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now you have Super Cruise and the heated steering wheel is right down here, so no big deal. Hey, if that's you passing me right now, kudos on you. You didn't win anything. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about using Super Cruise. I think I can get it to work here on the road we're on. It's very simple. Now, you do need to make sure that your adaptive cruise control is turned on. It'll tell you on the dashboard if you need to do anything, but all you have to do is just get down here and just push the button, and there you go. It's on. So a little bit different. It does feel a little strange right now because I'm not used to going through corners and doing that, little curves like that, nothing major. But you can see that the green light is on right here. For those of you who are not familiar with Super Cruise, well, that's how it works. And on this particular road, it's probably not the best place to be doing this because the lines on each side really need to be solid and consistent. And so you have some inconsistencies where that's concerned here, but just so you can see, the truck's going to come up here. We've got a little bit sharper curve to go through. The truck's going to handle it with absolutely no problem whatsoever. And if I wanted to change lanes, all I have to do is just tap the turn signal lever. Don't actually turn it on. I mean, you could, I guess. It wouldn't really matter necessarily, but you can turn it on, but just tap it basically, and it will change lanes for you. And it will change lanes on its own as well. If there was somebody in front of me that was driving slower than I have the truck set to drive right now, then it would sense that, it would turn the blinker on itself, it would move over and pass, and then when it was safe to move back over again, well, it would do so. So a pretty simple process here. And if you look away from the steering wheel, turn your head to the left or to the right, I think it's about 10 seconds. It will actually, the seat will vibrate. You'll see this indicator turn red, and it will let you know that it's about to turn off and deactivate. And there are other little safety features and things that go along with it if you ever became incapacitated. The truck will actually move all the way to the furthest, see there it is, it's wanting to turn off now. It will actually move all the way over to the furthest right-hand lane, and it will very, very, very gradually begin to slow down. If you don't respond in a certain amount of time, I think it's maybe 1 or 2 shots it tries to get you to respond, and then it will call OnStar automatically. OnStar will call 911. I think OnStar is actually getting you to respond. But anyway, whatever the case is, I don't remember all of this. I'm going by memory. But one way or another, that's one of the safety features that's built into this if something like that were to ever happen. I know it probably sounds a little bit strange saying, man, what if you're out on the interstate and the truck comes to a stop? Well, it takes so long to do that that traffic behind you knows what's going on. The hazard lights come on. Hopefully you never have to deal with that. But in case somebody had that question, there is a safety feature built in where that's concerned. Now you might notice something that you haven't probably seen in the last few years, and that's the fact that I'm driving with the front view camera turned on. That's right, you can do that. And I don't think you could do that before 2023, even though this dash setup with the 13.4-inch screen and all this, it came out in 2022, but I don't think you can get the camera to stay on. I don't remember. It's been a while, so I don't even think I tried that, because I know in the Yukons you can't do that. You get up to, I think, as little as 5 miles an hour, it might be 10, and the screen goes off, but not in this case. Could there be benefits to that? Sure. You know, especially if you're out on the trail or wherever you are and you really need to see what's in front of you at a lower angle and just kind of see what's going on, that's very helpful in that respect. So let's talk a little bit about ride quality. It's a truck. For those of you out there who say, man, I want a truck that feels big and burly and tough, you know, trucks are supposed to have a little bit of a rigid ride. Maybe not knock the fillings out of your teeth kind of rigid, but if that's already happened, you probably don't care. If you still had the fillings in your teeth, if you have any at all, well, then you probably do care. But anyway, one way or another, this truck, it doesn't ride like a tank. It doesn't ride like a Cadillac, but the ride quality is more than good enough to enjoy a nice long road trip without wearing you out. No big deal. It's a very enjoyable truck. It has the ability to do everything that a truck's supposed to do. I'm going to speed up a little bit here to get around this kamikaze person right here on the bicycle. I call those kamikaze cyclists because, well, obviously it's a little dangerous to do that because you never know with distracted drivers these days. But I wanted to get around them before I made it to this curve right here. We don't want to drive in the oncoming lane in that situation. But one way or another, I really have to say this truck does a lot. It's great as a luxury truck. It's great as a pickup truck. It has a lot of neat technology. And here's the good thing. You don't have to get everything here. Super Cruise, that's not a standard feature. You have to opt to have that. So unless you buy it from the dealership like that. But if you order, then, well, obviously that makes a difference where all that is concerned, depending on what you may or may not want to do. One way or another, a great truck all the way around. Great as a family hauler, great as a toy hauler, and depending on what you're hauling, you can haul a race car on an open trailer, maybe a smaller, maybe 24-foot, 28-foot enclosed trailer, something like that. Before you start getting up into the bigger, heavier gooseneck and fifth wheels, and then you need to go HD. And if you're thinking about something like that, if that sparks an idea in your mind and you're saying to yourself, man, I'd like that, but I haven't seen the HDs with the screens and everything that we have here. As of the 2024 model year, which actually came out earlier this year, they do have all of this. So that's a good thing. And one more thing I want to share, Super Cruise and towing. Yes, you can tow with Super Cruise turned on. And that is what you get for a sticker price of $82,035 with the 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. If you can send me a video saying that 5 times fast without getting tongue twisted, I'll send you a Vehicle Visionary t-shirt. Somebody really try me out on that. I'm not kidding. So tell me what you think about this truck. It's a mouthful to say, and it offers a lot of features, that's for sure. Always curious to know what your thoughts are. If you plan to buy one of these trucks for 2024, maybe you're still looking for a 2023, tell me what your plans are. How do you plan to spec it out? Color, exterior colors, all that kind of stuff. What engine under the hood? Tell me what you think about everything. I'm curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this truck for the day so I can tell you all about it. If you want to know more about this particular truck, check out the link down in the description of the video. And if you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.